So I've been wearing a Leatherman Wave on my hip for, I don't know, 30 years maybe? I don't know how long they've been out, but I just love the Wave. Now, I had the original Wave, and actually I had two of them because oftentimes they crap out, or, I damage them, or I sharpen the blade until there's no blade left. So I have two of them, and I'd send them in for getting rebuilt. And a while ago I sent one in to get rebuilt, and they sent me back the Wave Plus. And I thought, well, I wasn't so sure that was what I really wanted. So anyway, I started playing with it. I love it. It's incredible. So I was using, and I have two of them now, because I sent my other old one in to get repaired too, to get new Wave Plus. And, well, actually this just says Wave. Oh, that's interesting. I thought maybe that one. Anyway, I just broke one of the new Wave Pluses I got, and so I sent it in the Leatherman and just got it back. So I'm going to use my other Leatherman with the serrated edge blade to open up the package. Let's take a look here. See what they sent back to me. Oh, look at that. See, I broke the jaws. They kept the same handle with my name on it and everything. That's pretty cool. But what I want to show you is how I need to tune this. How I tune the Wave. Now, this one actually, they left the jaws in good shape. Usually when I get these guys, the new ones, and this is the Wave Plus. That's interesting. This is the Leatherman Wave. I wonder what the difference is between these guys. Oh, let's figure this out. I don't see much difference there. Eek-a-dober. I don't see any difference there either. Maybe they just decided to call it the Wave Plus. Anyway, so I just got this one back. And usually when I get them, the jaws are so stiff you can barely move them. So what I do is I can have holes in my bench and or if I need one, I'll drill a new hole. But what I'll do is on the jaw, they have a pivot pin, and I'll put that over a hole in the bench and take a pin punch and whang, give it a whack. And many times I can loosen it up until it doesn't have flop this way, but it's nice and easy to do with one hand here. Particularly with my right hand, since I boogered it up my table saw, and that index finger doesn't bend anymore, so I'm really only using three fingers to work stuff. It's kind of a nuisance, but it still works. That's one of the things I do. Also what I do, actually let me zoom in a bit here and I'll show you what I do. So when I go to tune a Wave, one of the first things I do is you'll see this has been tuned. The tip here, that it's ground a little bit of a point. Not all the way, there's still a little bit of a flat on the end. But you see, this one's just square ground. And to me, that's a little harsh. I like it a little pointier. That lets me get into things a little tighter. Also, what I like to do is on the yeah, see these joints also, those are pretty stiff, right there. Yeah, those joints are stiff. Whereas this one I've worked on, it's nice and smooth. The reason I like it smooth is I like to, if I take it out one-handed, I like to be able to hook it over the corner or something and open it up one-handed. If I'm holding something with my left hand, I want to be able to open it with my right hand. This guy is, oh wow. See, if I put my thumb in here to close it and squeeze, oh man, that just hurts. See, because I always do that. I do this so then I can close with one hand. I can't do it on this one. So the rub is here is they have a little joint in here. I'm going to have to zoom in and really show you what the scoop is on that and how I adjust that. So the way this works for making that little joint break stiff. Oh wow, that one's really stiff. The way it works is this right here, this piece of sheet metal, there's a little rise in that joint down in there. So as it snaps, oh boy, over that guy, okay? it's just so stiff I can hardly even do it. So what I'll do is I'll take a Dremel. Oh boy, that's really stiff. I'm just grunting a lot, make it seem impressive here. Come on, focus, here we go. I'll take a Dremel and bing, see, just as it hits, right in that area there is where I'll grind. You can actually see a little bit of a wear mark if I can get this guy to focus close. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, you can see a little bit of a wear mark. Come on, focus right there, you bugger. There we go. Can see a little bit of a wear mark right on that guy there, where this piece of sheet metal runs into it. So you gotta be really careful, man. You gotta take a tiny bit off at a time, but that's how I do it. Take a tiny bit off at a time and tune it until it's just the right amount of loose, so that you see the jaws, you don't want them to be tighter than these joints, obviously. Otherwise, if you go to open it and the jaw's stiff, it's going to bend backwards like that. That's no good. So you want to have the jaws nice and loose. Come on, focus, there we go. You want to have the jaws loose and these joints down here just a little bit tighter than that. So it's one of the things I do when I'm tuning the Leatherman. Now, another thing I do is on the, and I haven't done it yet. See, it's terrible. I gotta get this stuff done. So you have the drop point blade over here, right? And you have the serrated edge blade. Now, funny story. Way back when the first Wave came out, I was working at Triad Speakers, which was just down the road from the Leatherman factory right here in Portland, and one of the engineers at Leatherman was the friend of one of the engineers at Triad, and I was one of the engineers at Triad. And so we went over, we got to have a tour of Leatherman. It's really fun. And while I was there, I showed him my Wave, and I said, you know, one of the things I did on my my serrated knife is I put some little serrations on the back of the blade on the outside, so that in the dark, when I pull this thing in my pocket, I can feel it with my thumb and tell that is the serrated blade. And then over here, this one's smooth, that's the drop point. I thought that was pretty cool. Well, guess what? Now they're doing that on the same blade. So I am the master of putting little nicks on the back of the serrated blade. I feel so special. Anyway, they're doing it, but there aren't enough. I can barely feel those, so I do them a little bit further out, a few more of them, and a little deeper. Nink, 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 nink. And I haven't done it on this one. I just use Dremel with a thin cutoff disc and kind of come in, you know, deepen those in, make a few more of them. Another thing I do is I soften this opening on the side of both of the blades. When they do it, it's just a stamped opening, and then they do a little bit of a deburr. But I take that Dremel tool and use a grindstone or whatever, and I run it back and forth in here because it's kind of harsh on my thumb. I'm such a sissy anymore. Of course, you see, I wear gloves in the shop all the time anymore, so my hands just don't have that manly callus anymore. Anyway, so I do that on both the blades. The other thing I do is I tune how easy it is to open the blade. Now they've just rebuilt this one and swapped out the jaw that I broke, because I broke the jaw right across that joint there, which is kind of nasty. But so these are the tuned. Oh, actually, oh yeah. Look at this one. This is the one I just got back. See, I add those little notches. Neener, neener, neener. So this one, it's still a little stiff on the blade. Well, it's about right actually. Yeah. So this is the one I've already tuned on the blade. And the way to tune the blade, they're really stiff to open when they first get them. They're hard to get open. They hurt your thumb, at least my thumb. Like again, I said, I'm a sissy. So you open this up. You see that little nibbin right there? That little nibbin right down in there hits right into this little pocket in the back of the blade. And this is a spring. Boom, boom. Now that spring also locks the blade when it's open, which is really cool. So you just push that sideways to close the blade. So what I do is I just grind that little nibbin down with a Dremel. And again, man, you got to be careful. Just a little bit at a time. Keep testing until it feels just right. because I want to be able to take this thing out of my sheath and open it up with one hand without fretting, and then just be able to close it, bink, like that. That's gorgeous. So, oh, another thing I do, I want to show you the sheath. One of the things I do to the sheath here is really cool. Okay, so I said one of the things I do to the sheath. I actually do two things. You see that finger? It's all boogered up and straightened out. Anyway, two things to the sheath. First thing I do is, you'll notice that this is melted on the edges here. That's because when I got this sheath, it was square, right? Yeah, it looks kind of cool, and it's an inexpensive manufacturing thing for them to do. But the trouble is that when it rides on your hip all day and your arm is swinging back and forth, you'll see it's already starting to curve out a little bit already. See that square corner, really, it just curves out so bad, it ends up bent, and it catches on stuff all the time. So I just took a soldering iron, and I just, actually what I did is I took a hot nail. I took a nail and heat it with a propane torch, and I cut this off, and then kept melting it and kind of smoothing it over until it's just gorgeous, right? So it's really easy to open, all that kind of good stuff. Now, the other thing I did, I'll show you in just a sec here. Here we go. The other thing I did is I made a little block of ABS plastic. And I don't know, it's maybe, 5/16, and not quite 3/8 thick, and a little over a half by whatever the width of the sheath is. And the reason I made this guy is it goes down the bottom here. The reason it goes in the bottom is that, look at this, when they make the sheath, if you close it, the hole in the snap doesn't line up with the snap. It's kind of ridiculous. So I went ahead and made this little guy, and it goes down on the bottom there. See if I can get this to wriggle around here. Come on, get your bunker. There you go. Let me tap it in. Yeah, so now when I go to close it with my hand, look at this. It falls right onto that. So when it's on my hip, I can just take my hand and smush my hand down, bink, and it and come on. Pink, and it closes. There we go. Yes, gorgeous. Anyway, that's really nice. Now, one thing else I need to do is look at this. I've only had this sheath maybe a year, and look at this. It's bloody falling apart. The sewing wasn't well done. So when you get your sheath, what you should do is take some water-thin super glue and nick down the points where the end of the sewing is. That way, that's like a hem lock is what they call it. It locks the hem on sewing and that kind of stuff. And if you use water-thin super glue, it'll suck right in. See, now I got to figure out how to fix this thing. That's going to be a nuisance. I'm going to have to get out my leather awl or something and sew that, because I don't have a sewing machine with that thin of a foot. Anyway, so that's one of the things I do on the sheath. Okay, and one other little thing I do for tuning, just to make life easier, since I wear these gloves in the shop all the time, I don't get to have fingernails for picking at things. And so here on the file, the original shape, let's see, is this still the original shape on this one? Oh, boy, that thing's stiff. I gotta fix that. Nope, I've already modified that. No, that is that, yeah, that's the original shape. Okay, you see, I took the original shape, which is just kind of roundy a little bit, and I did it a little deeper and sharper and pointier. And what that does is it lets these gloves, when I have them on, it lets it catch right in there real nicely and get a hold of that guy and open it up. Because I use that file. I mean, this file with the diamond on one face, I use it in the kitchen even for tuning up a knife before I go to use it. It's great. That is, for cutting tomatoes where you want kind of a ragged edge on a knife. It's just perfect. Anyway, so that's how I tune up the Leatherman Wave. And no, I don't have any idea why they call this the Wave and the Wave Plus. You can see they're actually labeled differently here. Now look at that. I put my signature on there. Isn't that cute? It's crooked. Anyway, yeah. So that's how I tune up the old Leatherman Wave. I love these things. Like I said, I've worn one for probably 30 plus years on my hip. I wear it every day, even when I'm wearing my $5,000 Brioni suit to the studio, because it's just the best bloody tool to have all the time.